video games, much like movies and television shows, they've been getting better and better over the years as the technology improves. What started out looking like this now looks like this. But while gaming today has been the best it's ever been, it's also been the worst it's ever been. Most of the time it's just small stuff like the games having great graphics and looking spectacular but not offering much for gameplay. But that's not what I want to talk about today. What I want to talk about today is something much worse and something that really is becoming a problem with video games: microtransactions. A microtransaction is any sort of purchase you make with real money for in-game items. Mostly this is to buy things like different skins for your weapons or for your characters, but it's mostly prevalent when buying in-game currency for most mobile games. If you've ever opened a mobile game and go to the shop, you might see stuff like this. This is a microtransaction. You will most likely only see these in free-to-play games such as Mobile Strike or Candy Crush. And they exist so developers can release the game for free, but still make money off of it. That's either from ad revenue or from the transactions that you buy. However, microtransactions do exist in games that you need to buy to play, like Counter-Strike or Overwatch, which brings me to my next point. It depends on what you're buying. In a game like Pokemon Go, you can earn in-game credits, which you can then use to purchase anything from the shop. Of course, you could just get these items from Pokestops or from leveling up, but if you don't want to keep constantly going back to these Pokestops, they're available in the shop. It takes a lot of gameplay to even build up enough currency to buy anything from the shop. But you have the option to buy the currency with real money, so you don't have to keep playing the game to save up for it. The items you buy here will definitely affect gameplay because those items are used to help you find and catch Pokemon, further progressing you in the game. But in the case of Counter-Strike, the transactions are not necessary to improve the gameplay. All you get is just some cool looking skins for your weapons, and sometimes really cool looking knives that are worth a lot of money. But it doesn't do a diddly squat in the game. When you download a free-to-play game on your phone, you pretty much expect there to be some sort of transaction present in the game. As you can see, microtransactions aren't exclusive to free-to-play games. Counter-Strike does it, and Overwatch does it, but it would never affect your actual performance in the game. And then you have games like Star Wars Battlefront 2 by these guys. And then you really get to see what's wrong with microtransactions. To be honest though, microtransactions in general aren't really a bad thing, but it's what EA does with them that makes them very annoying. If you don't know what Battlefront is a game in the Star Wars universe where you can play as any of the soldiers that fight in the actual war. But you're also able to play as some of the more popular characters in the Star Wars franchise, such as Luke Skywalker, Darth Vader, but they cost in-game currency. And to get currency in this game, you have to win matches, which you then win a certain amount of credits after each match. You would eventually save up to be able to purchase these characters. Now at first, it doesn't really seem like that big of a deal. In fact, it sounds like a reasonable reward system where if you play the game a bunch, you will eventually be able to play as some of the more cool characters. But let's actually do the math for a minute, which is probably something that EA does not want us to do. So to unlock a character like Luke Skywalker, for example, it would take around 60,000 credits to unlock him. The average amount of time that you'll play a match in this game would be 11 minutes, while the average amount of credits you earn after every match would be 275. So to unlock characters like Luke Skywalker, you would have to play around 218 matches, which is equivalent to 40 hours of gameplay. This does not include time that you spend waiting for every match to start. This is time that you're actually spending playing the game. But you have another option. You can use real money to purchase a type of currency in the game called crystals. You can use these crystals to purchase what are called loot crates. A loot crate is essentially a mystery box which when you open, you get a random amount of items that you can use for your game. These items can range from being completely useless, like having a different victory animation for your character, to actually helping you in the game, such as getting better weapons, or winning more currency. Now at this point, it doesn't really seem like you need to spend too much money on these loot crates to unlock Luke Skywalker. However, gaming outlets such as GameSpot have found that even spending over $100 worth of loot crates doesn't even give you more than half the amount that you need to unlock characters like Luke Skywalker or Darth Vader. So unless you're very rich and are able to afford $200 of loot crates, you better abandon anything that you were doing in your life, play this game constantly until you get enough credits to play as Luke Skywalker. Now at this point you're probably wondering, if this game has transactions that can directly affect your performance in the game, then that must mean that this game's free to play, right? Well, I wish that was the case, but unfortunately this game is $60. This game is not like Counter-Strike or Overwatch where the microtransactions don't affect gameplay, because this actually does affect gameplay. It creates an unfair advantage for people that have a lot of time and have a lot of money, get the better items and better characters in the game that will help them win more matches. Whereas somebody that doesn't have a lot of time or money to play the game and get the better items is at an unfair disadvantage. And this isn't the first time that EA has done this for their games. They've been doing stuff like this for years with their sports games, most notably with FIFA, where you can create your own fantasy teams that are filled with players that you win from a similar system like the loot crates. Each player would have a different set of skills that could help you in each game you play, such as speed or shot accuracy. They've also done microtransactions for their free-to-play games such as Plants vs. Zombies 2. They even charged players for gas in Need for Speed. What? You would rather spend that money on actual gas. Oh boy. So I want to end this video with what you can do to help prevent games like this. The simplest answer is just don't buy the game. Vote with your wallet. The games that these companies make are what people are willing to pay for. And when you give EA your money for a game like Battlefront, you're telling them that you want to see more games like this. This also includes if you actually spend money on the transactions the game gives you. If they can't make money off these transactions, then they won't have them. But even if you're going to buy the game anyway, at least don't pre-order it. The entire point of pre-ordering games was so you could be guaranteed a copy of the game before it went sold out in stores. But we live in a day and age where digital copies of the game exist. A digital copy of the game will never be sold out. It just isn't possible. Don't cave in to the hype train. Wait until the game is released. Wait until there's reviews out there of the game before you decide if this is something you want to spend $60 on. Gaming has been great, and it's going to get better, but it will only get better if consumers are smart with their money. Pay for what you want, not what you think it's going to be. Thank you all for watching.